All right, today we're jumping into a really powerful story that's tucked away in the Song of Songs. And it's a journey that I think so many of us can relate to on a spiritual level. It's all about seeking, feeling that gut-wrenching sense of loss, and then the incredible joy of finding what was lost. So let's get into it.
So, the story kicks off in a really interesting place, her bed. And we're not just talking about a piece of furniture here. The bed is a symbol, right? It's comfort, it's rest, maybe even a little complacency. She's seeking, sure, but she hasn't actually moved. She's trying to find this deep, powerful connection from her own personal comfort zone. And as the verse makes pretty clear, it's just not working.
And look, this isn't just a one-off bad night. The original language suggests this is a recurring thing, night after night. It's a real spiritual drought. But here's where it gets really insightful. She says she sought him, but was she really? Or was she just trying to get back that warm, fuzzy feeling of comfort and joy that he provided? There's a huge difference there.
You know, there's actually a name for this kind of experience. It's famously called the dark night of the soul. It's this period of spiritual emptiness where God feels a million miles away. But the absolute key here is understanding the why. These dark nights aren't God punishing us. Think of them more like a spiritual fire, designed by God to burn away the impurities, test our faith, and in the end, make it so much stronger. So, okay, if it's not a punishment, then what's the point? Well, the idea is that God sometimes strategically pulls back his tangible presence to wake us up, to get us to search for him with our whole heart, not just part of it. It's a deliberate move to make our desire for him more intense and to free us from whatever might be holding us back.
This really forces us to rethink what discipline even means. It's not rejection, it's correction. God's displeasure is with a specific behavior, not with the person. In fact, this kind of discipline is proof that he hasn't given up on us. His silence isn't him saying it's all good. No way. His patience is this powerful, loving space he gives us to turn back around.
A lot of times, a season like this is really just a spiritual checkup, you know? It's meant to correct these little imbalances that can sneak into our lives. A deep inner life is amazing, but if it's not balanced, it can lead to pulling away from your community, or becoming idle instead of serving, or getting this independent streak that doesn't want to listen to anyone. This whole journey is about getting that balance back.
And this right here, this is the pivot. This is where the whole story turns. The seeker finally gets it. Just lying around and longing for something isn't enough. A choice has to be made. It is time to go from just wanting to actively doing.
3 simple words, but man, they are a game changer. I will arise. This is the moment it all shifts. It's the spark and has the exact same energy as the prodigal son, right? When he hits rock bottom in the pigsty and says, that's it, I will arise and go to my father. It's the decision to stop wallowing and start moving.
So what does this action look like? First, she gets out of the bed. She's done with that false sense of security. Then she goes into the city, the real world, with all its tests and challenges. She even searches the streets and squares, which are basically all the places of religious activity. She's checking all the boxes, doing all the right things. But as she's about to find out, it's still not quite enough.
And this just perfectly illustrates that classic truth. Obedience is better than sacrifice. All those religious activities, all that sacrifice, it's no substitute for simple, direct obedience. God isn't looking for a performance or for us to check off a to-do list. He's looking for a genuine response from our hearts. So she's tried seeking from her comfort zone. She's tried doing all the religious stuff. What's next? Well, she does what most of us would do. She turns to the established systems, the designated spiritual experts of her day. She runs into the watchmen. You can think of these as the pastors, the spiritual leaders, the mentors who guard the city. And she asks for their help, but they can't give her the answer. They can give guidance, they can give wisdom for sure, but what they can't do is manufacture that personal, one-on-one encounter she's so desperate for. And here it is, this is the climax. The big breakthrough doesn't happen while she's with the watchmen, not within the safety of the system. It happens just after she passes them, when she's got to keep going on her own. In that moment, she has to move beyond just relying on others and take a step of pure personal faith. And boom, there it is. She finds him. Not through just wishing for it in bed, not through religious rituals, and not even through her trusted spiritual leaders. She finds him when she takes that final, courageous, personal step of obedience. The test is finally over.
This reunion changes absolutely everything. You know how you don't realize how much you value something until you almost lose it? That's what happened here. Her attitude is no longer passive, it's energized. A brand new resolve is born out of the pain of that separation. I am never letting this happen again.
Now, this is not a gentle, passive little hug. The language here suggests something intense, a kind of holy violence. She is clinging to him with a fierce determination. The pain of losing his presence has ignited this powerful resolve to hold on with everything she has. No more compromises. She will do whatever it takes to protect this connection.
So where does she take him? To the house of her mother. This is symbolic, of course. It represents the church, her spiritual family. And this is so important. The deeply personal discovery she made wasn't meant to be kept private. Her very first instinct is to bring this renewed intimacy back into her community, to show them how valuable it is, and to help restore that deep connection for everyone.
So, as we wrap this up, what are the big takeaways from this incredible little story? First, that spiritual discomfort is often the very thing that leads to real growth. Second, real seeking means you have to get up and do something, not just feel something. Third, while guides and systems are helpful, the deepest discoveries are ultimately personal. And maybe the biggest one of all. Whatever you find through a struggle, you have to cherish it and protect it fiercely.
And that kind of leaves us with a big question to chew on. The seeker had to move past the safe system of her spiritual leaders to get what she was looking for. So, what comfortable routines or safe systems in our own lives might be standing between us and a deeper, more personal discovery of our own? Something to think about.